Your safety and the safety of your fellow workers and the safety of the driving public will depend on your performing your flagging duties properly.
An effective flagging operation is not something that just happens. It's a result of planning, proper training, and the use of good flagging procedures.
This program was developed to help prepare you to be a flagger. As a flagger, you're in contact with the public more than anyone else on the job. Your attitude and appearance directly affect the public's view of operations.
A flagger's responsibilities are critical in keeping the work zone safe for workers, pedestrians, and the traveling public. Your first responsibility as a flagger is to have the proper clothing and equipment in good condition. Improper equipment reduces the driver's ability to understand your instructions. Neat dress and appearance also help you gain the driver's respect, making your job that much easier. Your clothes shall include an ANSI Class II safety vest with traffic control clearly legible on the front and back. It may include a brightly colored hat. This clothing makes you more visible to traffic and makes you stand out from the other workers. You should wear comfortable, sturdy shoes.
It is also a good idea to carry an air horn to alert your co-workers if a vehicle appears likely to run into the work area. The main traffic control device used by flaggers is the Stop Slow paddle. This sign must be retroreflective, octagon-shaped, at least 18 by 18 inches with 6-inch high letters. The paddle should be mounted on a handle that measures at least 6 feet high. A work zone is made up of 4 main sections: the advanced warning area, a transition area, activity area, and the termination area. Each area serves a very important role in ensuring a safe work zone. The advanced warning area is that area that the drivers see first when they enter your work zone. In most situations, there are multiple signs located in the advanced warning area. These include the Road Work Ahead sign, a one-lane road ahead sign, and a flagger ahead or flagger symbol sign. If a flagger is present, there must be at least a flagger ahead sign. The transition area is generally made up of a taper of 50 to 100 feet long that allows traffic to move out of its normal driving path using traffic control devices to delineate the flow of traffic. The flagger will be set up slightly ahead of the transition area. The activity area is broken up into 3 parts. The first is the workspace, where work is actually being done. This space is generally occupied by construction vehicles and workers. The travel space, that part of the roadway that is open for public travel. And finally, the buffer space, the space that creates a safety cushion for those vehicles that fail to yield to the flagger. At no time should personnel or vehicles be located in the buffer space.
At the end of the work zone, you will have a termination taper, which moves the traveling public back to the normal flow. The termination taper can either be tapered back to the shoulder or dead-ended in the center of the road for ease of access and egress of the work vehicles. The termination taper, also referred to as the downstream taper, is always 100 feet long.
Before beginning any flagging operation, advanced warning signs must be in place. For most flagging operations, this will include a Road Work Ahead sign, a one-lane road ahead sign, and a flagger symbol sign.
In some cases, other advanced warning signs may be used, but in all cases, the flagger sign must be in place before flagging begins.
To set up the work zone, begin with the first device the driver will see and work with the flow of traffic toward the intended workspace, beginning with the open lane, then setting up the traffic control devices for the lane that will be closed.
Have flaggers stop traffic in both directions while cones are being put in place.
With traffic control devices in place and with proper equipment, the flaggers may now begin controlling traffic.
Because drivers are sometimes tired, preoccupied, or impaired, you must remain alert at all times. Stay on your feet facing oncoming traffic.
Always stand alone in a highly visible location, away from other workers and work vehicles. However, never stand directly in the path of an approaching vehicle. Avoid standing in a shadow or with anything inhibiting your escape area, such as guardrails, equipment, or parked vehicles.
Generally, flagging operations require 3 basic skills: stopping, releasing, and slowing traffic. To stop traffic, stand on the shoulder of the roadway with the stop paddle away from your body, on or near the edge of the pavement. If possible, allow trucks and delivery vehicles to pass through and stop a passenger vehicle as your lead vehicle for maximum visibility. Look directly at the approaching traffic and turn the paddle to stop. Raise your free hand with the palm exposed to the approaching driver. Make eye contact with the driver. After you have stopped the first vehicle, then you may walk out to the center of the roadway, so the additional approaching traffic can see the stop paddle. Do not cross the center line. Remember to watch out for traffic that may be coming from behind you. Never stand in the path of oncoming traffic.
Before you release traffic, you will need to move back to the shoulder. Keep your paddle on stop until you are safely on the shoulder of the road. Only then may you release traffic. There are 2 ways to release traffic. The first way is from the closed lane. To release traffic from the closed lane, turn the slow side of the paddle to face the vehicles. With your free arm, signal the drivers to proceed into the open lane. Be direct and point in the direction you want traffic to go. Never wave the paddle. After all the vehicles have passed, turn your paddle to stop and wait for the next vehicle.
The second way to release traffic is from the open lane. After the road is clear ahead, display the slow paddle to the drivers. With your free arm, motion the drivers to proceed. Again, be direct and deliberate in your motions.
In some cases, you may not need to stop traffic, but only slow it down. In these cases, always stand on the shoulder of the road. Display the slow paddle to oncoming traffic. Use your free arm to motion traffic to slow down. Remember, never stand in the path of oncoming traffic.
If you learn these 3 basic skills, you'll be well prepared for any flagging operation.
Situations will vary, and how you apply these skills will differ from project to project.
Remember, never start any flagging operation until all of your advanced warning signs have been set up. These signs tell the driver that you're controlling traffic ahead. Without these advanced warning signs, the driver does not expect you to be in the roadway.
Now let's look at some typical situations a flagger might face. The first situation is a single flagger operation. Sometimes only one flagger is needed to control traffic on a low-volume 2-lane road. Where only one flagger is used, the work area must be short and on a straight section of roadway. The flagger must be visible to approaching traffic from both directions. In a single flagger operation, the flagger stands on the shoulder directly across from the work area so that he or she is visible to traffic approaching from either direction. Then the flagger can assign right-of-way with the paddle. Remember, a single flagger operation is only acceptable for low-volume conditions where there is good sight distance from both approaches and the work area is short.
The second situation, probably the most common, is the 2-flagger operation. When 2 flaggers are used, they must always be able to communicate with one another. This can be done by either keeping visual contact or by using radios. Radio contact is the preferred method. In these cases, one flagger is always in charge of the operation. Radio communication should be kept to necessary conversation.
If visual contact is possible in the work zone, then the operation normally works like this. One flagger displays the stop paddle and stops traffic, while the second flagger displays the slow paddle and releases traffic. The first flagger continues to display the stop paddle and stop all traffic until the second flagger turns his paddle to stop and gives an all-clear signal. This signal tells the first flagger that he or she may release his traffic by displaying the slow paddle. The all-clear message can be given visually by using a hand signal such as lifting one's hand. Be careful, however, not to use hand signals that may confuse the motorist.
When visual contact is not possible, such as over hills or around curves, then radios are the best way to maintain communication between flaggers. Remember, communication between flaggers is vital, and radios are the best way to maintain communication. When using radios, the first flagger releases traffic and identifies the last vehicle to the second flagger. The first flagger will then turn the paddle to the stop position. When the last vehicle clears the second flagger can then display the slow paddle and release their traffic. The third situation is nighttime flagging operations. When a flagger is working in low visibility conditions, they should increase their visibility by using a flashlight with a glow cone and wearing ANSI Class 3 apparel, which is the ANSI Class 2 vest and Class E trousers. A retroreflectorized stop slow paddle is required for both daytime and nighttime flagging operations.
To stop an approaching vehicle, stand on the shoulder of the road, holding the stop paddle away from your body. Do not stand in the travel lane. Wave your flashlight with the glow cone back and forth in front of your body to attract the driver's attention. To release traffic, turn the paddle to slow and direct traffic to proceed by pointing the flashlight into the open lane. Do not wave the flashlight while releasing traffic. Point the flashlight in the direction of intended travel. The flagging station shall be lit by auxiliary lighting. Remember to take into consideration the drivers and position these lights in a way that will not blind oncoming traffic. This is the safest way to flag at night. Street lights and vehicle headlights are not sufficient. The more visible you are, the easier it is for the driver to see you and to follow your instructions.
The fourth situation involves only one flagger, restricting only one direction of traffic. An example of this is an area where trucks are loading or unloading and are blocking the lane.
The flagger stops traffic in the usual manner. Once the work has been completed and the way is clear, the flagger releases traffic.
When releasing traffic on a two-lane highway where traffic is stopped temporarily in only one lane, turn the paddle a quarter turn so that the word stop faces you. In this position, the sign is parallel to the shoulder of the road so that neither stop nor slow can be read by the motorist approaching from either direction. We don't want to confuse the motorist.
The fifth and final situation deals with emergencies, such as a broken utility line, accidents, or a washout. In these situations, the proper flagging equipment may not be immediately available. In these cases, a 24 by 24-inch red flag may be used for flagging traffic until such time that proper equipment arrives.
In emergencies, your first priority is to warn the public of the hazard. To stop traffic, stand on the shoulder of the road and extend the flag into the roadway. Raise your other hand to the stop position.
To release traffic, drop the flag to your side and with your free hand motion traffic to proceed. Do not use the flag to motion traffic through. This confuses the drivers. To alert and slow traffic, the flag should be waved from the ground to shoulder height.
As soon as the proper equipment is available, the stop slow paddles should be used and proper advanced warning signs should be set up. For nighttime emergencies, auxiliary lighting for the flagging station shall be provided as soon as possible.
If during normal flagging operations an emergency vehicle approaches your work zone, both directions of traffic should be stopped immediately. Traffic should be allowed to clear the travel space. Once the travel space is cleared, the flagger shall direct the emergency vehicle through the work zone.
In some situations, the workspace moves and the flagger station needs to be relocated. Flagger station shall be located so that the approaching road users will have adequate warning and sufficient distance to stop at the intended stopping point.
The flagger advanced warning signs shall be moved when the flagger station is moved. At no time should the flagger station be more than 500 feet from the nearest sign.
When flagging operations are not active, the flagger signs must be covered or removed.
As soon as the work is completed and the activity area has been cleared of all equipment and workers, stop traffic in both directions and remove the traffic control devices. Start by removing the cones in the reverse order of installation, beginning at the termination area and working back to the first device installed. At this point, traffic may be released. Then begin to remove the signs closest to your work area and continue to remove them against the flow of traffic.
Now let's summarize the 5 flagging situations we've just discussed.
Single flagger operation. This operation is acceptable for low volume conditions where there is good sight distance and the work area is short.
Two flagger operation. This is the most common flagging procedure. A flagger works on each end of the work zone to control the movement of traffic through the work area. Good communication between flaggers is critical during this operation.
Nighttime flagging operation. This can be a dangerous operation because of poor visibility at night. All traffic control devices, including cones, signs, barrels, and paddles, shall be retroreflective. The flagging stations shall be well lit so that the flagger is visible to traffic.
One flagger restricting one direction of traffic. This operation is normally used where one lane of traffic is periodically blocked.
Emergency flagging. Under emergency situations, 24 by 24-inch red flags may be used to control traffic until stop-slow paddles can be obtained.
Remember, no matter what flagging procedure is used, always stay alert and face oncoming traffic.
Stand alone in a good visible location away from other workers and work vehicles.
And never stand in the path of approaching vehicles.
When an emergency vehicle approaches your work zone, both directions of traffic should be stopped immediately. Traffic should be allowed to clear the travel space. Once the travel space is cleared, the flagger shall direct the emergency vehicles through the work zone.
Your job as a flagger is one of the most important jobs in the work zone. Everyone, including the motorists, fellow workers, and you, will depend on your ability to properly follow these flagging procedures.
If you have any questions about flagging operations, don't hesitate to ask your supervisor.
The supervisor is an important part of a good flagging operation. As a supervisor, be sure that your flaggers understand their duties. Decide which situations require flagging, and if flaggers are needed, don't allow work to begin until the flagger or flaggers are in place.
Select flaggers carefully. Alertness, good vision and hearing, courtesy, neat appearance, common sense, and a sense of responsibility are required. Flaggers must be trained by a certified flag trainer. Be sure your flaggers have the proper equipment and the flagger signs are in place before flagging begins. Schedule routine breaks for your flaggers.
Drive through the work zone and observe the flagger's operation. Close calls or skidding mean that the flagger's station needs to be moved or that other problems exist.
Signs should not be left up after flagging is completed. Remove, fold over, or turn away the flagger ahead sign and other unnecessary signs when flagging is no longer being performed. Do not mislead the public.
Remember, in mobile operations or a rolling work zone, when the workspace moves and the flagger stations are moved, the advanced warning signs must also be moved.
If there is an intersection within the workspace, additional flaggers may be needed to control traffic in the temporary traffic control zone. Unless a flagger is a uniformed traffic officer, the flagger may not override a regulatory traffic control device, such as a stop sign or red light. Flaggers are only able to stop and release traffic. A uniformed traffic officer is needed to direct traffic.
There are 3 items that a supervisor should consider in planning for pedestrian safety. Pedestrians should not be led into direct conflicts with worksite vehicles, equipment, or operations.
Pedestrians should not be led into direct conflicts with traffic moving through or around the worksite.
Pedestrians should be provided with a safe, convenient travel path that replicates as nearly as possible the most desirable characteristics of sidewalks or footpaths.
Most flagging operations require at least the following traffic control devices: 2 roadwork ahead signs, 2 one-lane road ahead signs, 2 flagger ahead signs, 6 stands, 2 stop-slow paddles, 2 traffic control vests, and at least 15 cones.
Flagging is one of the most important jobs in any construction, maintenance, or utility operation.
It's also one of the most dangerous. However, with the proper training, equipment, and procedures, flagging can be safe and effective.